Hello friends, hello subscribers. Back to you again with another video. Showcasing today is a rifle that's I wouldn't say is uncommon or rare, but it's been decidedly difficult to find this particular model. This is a Ruger Model 77 Ultralight. And it's chambered in this caliber right here in the center. It is 250 Savage, or 250 3000. I believe the first commercial cartridge to exceed 3,000 feet per second. Developed by Charles Newton in 1915, I believe. However, this particular rifle was made by Sturm Ruger 1 year in 1984. I should clarify that. The Ultralight was made for quite a number of years, but the chambering 250 3000 was only made in 1984. Bill Ruger designed the Model 77 Ruger to I wouldn't say replace, but certainly an alternative to the Winchester Model 70, which was substantially changed in 1964. The last production of the Model 70 Winchester in its first iteration from 1936 to 1963. Some people, including Bill Ruger, felt that the Model 70 post-64 was not as good as the pre-64. So with that in mind, he designed the Ruger Model 77. Lots of the Model 77s have been made in a lot of different iterations. This particular one, the Ultralight, was probably built as a response to the demand for the early Winchester Model 70 featherweights. This rifle is similar in many ways to the Model 70 featherweight, but it differs in a few important details. It has a 20-inch barrel. It has an ebonized fore-end tip. See if we can get in on that. It has the ebonized grip cap. Black line spacer, and the classic Ruger red recoil pad. These were generally made with slightly upgraded wood. Not, terribly fancy, but, maybe a half step above the wood that would be normally selected for Model 77s. This rifle, I've been searching for this model and chamber of rifle for, no exaggeration to say, approximately 31 years. I won't go into all the details. I've missed on a number of them. I've run across them in other chamberings like 257 Roberts, 308, 7x57. But I had a hankering for the 250 Savage. And finally, this came up for auction. Came up in auction recently in Western Canada, and I was lucky enough to snag it without having to pay completely through the nose, perhaps through one nostril, but So the 250 Savage is slightly smaller than the 308, and the 223 Remington on the left for comparison. It shoots a standard 257 diameter bullet, as does a number of other 25 caliber rifles. There's usually fairly good choice for bullets in 25 caliber. I don't have a lot of experience loading for the 250 Savage. I've loaded it for a few people I know, but not personally for my own rifle. I think this would be a good choice, a hot core bullet by Speer, 100 grain, and two versions of the interlock, a round nose and a Spitzer, both 117 grain. The original factory loading to provide 3,000 feet a second was an 87 grain bullet. However, I think the 100 grain would be an excellent choice for deer hunting. These rifles are, although given the term ultralight, I wouldn't describe them as a featherweight. They are lighter than the traditional Model 70 featherweight. No way of doing that gracefully. There's many of these rifles had somewhat light wood, certainly not blonde, but somewhat light. Other than a kind of a knot there just below the front scope ring, it's nice. There's not really any figure, a little bit just at the recoil pad. But they have a traditional Mauser style bolt release. You're probably quite familiar with the Ruger 77s. There were a lot of them made. They're still being made under the designation Hawkeye. But these Ruger 77s, these early ones with the tang safety, you can just see it right there. These ones are real classics. If you happen to see one at auction or at a gun sale show or your favorite retailer that carries some used firearms, they're definitely really an attractive rifle, easy to carry, not really in really magnum cartridges. These ultralights are always in medium power cartridges. I think 308 is the biggest caliber, although I seem to have read something recently that said that they were offered in 358 Winchester, although I'm not really sure of that. So this is just a brief introduction to the rifle, and I'm quite excited about it, although I don't expect you to be caught up with the same enthusiasm. Fellow creator Toadley Browne has one of these, and I tried to convince him to sell it to me. His was in 250 Savage as well, but for obvious reasons he wasn't going to budge. So thankfully found this recently, and I'm quite happy. So thanks so much for tuning in. Bye bye.